Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Trevor Report. My name is Trevor, obviously, and today I'm joined by a financial advisor, Danny Brazic, however you pronounce it. Tell him who the hell you are and what the hell you do.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, Trevor. Appreciate you having me. So it's Danny Brezak,
Okay.
just so you know now for the future, but it's all good. I'm just kidding.
Mm.
Yeah, man. So at the end of the day, man, it's there's a lot of craziness going on out there, and from banking systems to government to just lack of education, right? And really, we're just trying to bring awareness, man. Just bringing awareness to our friends, our families. Because at
Mm.
the end of the day, man, if it's not someone like me that isn't able to take care of my circle of people, then
Mm.
who's going to? And
Yeah.
so that's a big focus for us. We're basically, you see these banking systems and organizations that are shutting down. They're over
Mm.
leveraging themselves, and it's just due to greed, right? And things that can affect us negatively, now and in the future.
Mm.
And really, to sum up what we do is we're teaching that 95% of our communities what the top 5% has been doing for centuries.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're leveraging in our favor finally, instead of allowing others to leverage at our expense.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've been saying this for a month now. Stop paying taxes, and this is how you do it. You renounce your US citizenship, you register an LLC in the state of Nevada, and then you have that LLC be owned by a shell company in Dubai. No more taxes ever again. But I've been saying that as political advice because this is a political show for the most part. So I always say, hey, like don't do this because the US government and the US culture, like you're basically paying extortion money for them to continue to treat you like shit at this point. So instead of giving the political advice on why you should do that, how about the financial advice on why you do that? Specifically, name me 5 rich people that have gotten rich by paying taxes.
Yeah. Not very many, right?
Yeah.
Not very many. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not a tax professional, not a tax
Hmm.
lawyer, but some of the concepts, some of the companies that we work with, some of the vehicles that we're able to, kind of educate people about will
Hmm.
allow you to ultimately, eliminate those taxes that you'll eventually have to pay in a form of a withdrawal, like money you want to live off of,
Hmm.
down the road, right? Because if we want to look at this thing together, just on today's situation, do we think taxes are going to be lower or are they going to be higher? When next 20 or 15 years.
I've never
Most,
seen taxes be lowered in my entire life,
that's
ever.
right. That's right. And most people that work a 9 to 5 or a corporate job or whatever it is, they're exposed to things like 401ks and 403bs and pensions and things like that. And all we've ever been told is don't worry about paying tax today, just pay it
Hmm.
later. But if
Yeah.
everybody that you talk to and I ask them, do you think taxes will be lower or higher? Everyone says it's going to be higher. And so we're educating people on, if we all agree taxes are going to be higher later, why are you delaying that?
Hmm.
Why don't you just pay them today, but then put yourself in a position to never pay tax again on that money? And that's what we do, man. We teach people about that.
Yeah. So we're talking about like banks and the banking system and all that stuff. Oh my God, stupid AI tool. I don't even use it. I don't know. I should like disconnect it. But anyway, there's a and I've talked about this in a previous video. I actually captioned a 20-minute rant video about the Federal Reserve, and that I will never do that again. But like that
Sure, I'm
was
sure you got a lot of comments on that.
yeah, like every minute of of captions to make it look good and all that stuff takes like it takes like 40 seconds per 10 seconds. So that took like way too long. He's frozen right now, so I'm just going to get into it. Basically, in that video, I explained how American finance is a pyramid scheme. There's the Federal Reserve, which gives loans to the banks, and then those banks take that money and loans it to financial advisors and people of that nature. and then you get a loan when you're in your 40s after you've saved up $2,000 to put a down payment because you're trading your time for your money, and like all this crap. Like, it's the biggest pyramid scheme like ever. You
Yeah.
know, is the way like American banking is set up, because especially, and you told me about this, and you talk about this on your thing. I'll have his link tree link down below in the description if any viewers are interested. But you basically talk about how the banks get their interest rates by having a cash value life insurance policy, and then they get 7% a year on that and give you 0.001%, which is insane. Like, that's like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, right, it's, we're so conditioned to put our money in the bank, right? We go
Hmm.
to work, we do a direct deposit right into the bank, right? And the bank gives us 0 to 1% on our money. And we're
Hmm.
okay with that for whatever reason, because it's in my opinion, it's a systemic, right? It's something that's been passed down to us for generations. This is what we know, so we try not to stray from it. What we do is we just say, look, this is what you've been doing, but here's what the banks do with your money.
Hmm.
See, because when you put money in the bank and you need more of your money, the bank's going to lend you your money back at anywhere from 8 to 24%. Kind of crazy, right? By the way, totally legal. But what they do, what you don't know, is they take the profits from your money and they go directly to these incredibly massive insurance investment companies
Hmm.
for a couple of reasons. You get a higher rate of return. They're getting anywhere from 6 to 12 to sometimes more percent in a return, and it's all tax free when they take that money out. And so what we're teaching people is, one, if that bothers you, it should,
Hmm.
right? And then if you want to learn how to do that for yourself, we take you, the consumer, me, my family, we just bypass the bank. We
Hmm.
go directly to the insurance investment companies on our own. And then we capture the higher rates of return for us. And then when I want my money or my clients need their money, we show them how to take all their money out 100% tax free, essentially becoming their own banker and eliminating that middleman, which is the bank, who clearly doesn't have, our
Yeah.
best interest. Right. So that's what we're doing, man. So it's a big deal. It's a huge
The
movement.
interest pun.
Yeah, of course. Right. It's a big deal, man. And people are finally starting to get it. And really, this Silicon Valley.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
He froze, but the Silicon Valley but he was talking about the Silicon Valley Bank, and I have absolutely no idea what's going on, aside from the fact that I don't like it because it's screwing over a bunch of people like in the long run. But he seems unfrozen now, so we can go ahead and continue.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were frozen, so I kind of just jumped in where you left off, but I didn't
Oh man, I'm
explain
sorry.
anything to make sure you could finish the thought. So
I got some poor weather out here. I apologize. Where did I let where did I leave off?
it literally, as you cut off at SVB.
Oh well, yeah. Just the Silicon Valley banks, once they went out of business, all that did was magnify our own personal business. People are
Hmm.
starting to listen more.
Yeah.
They're seeing these things happen. They're asking more questions, and honestly, we're sitting there waiting to educate as many people as we can. Because look, we're all in this thing together, right? If someone
Hmm.
loses money in the banking system, so do we sometimes on a personal
Yeah.
level. Because you can't get rid of the banks entirely, but you
Hmm.
can get rid of the amount that you leave there and ultimately create your own bank, and that's what we teach people to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's cool. Like really, I always had it in the back of my mind that there was something wrong with American finance, because it just kind of seems that like the boom and bust cycles are timed and all this stuff. And it turns out they are. Like, it's actually It's actually crazy. And then you come to find out that the Federal Reserve isn't a federal institution. It is a private corporation that
That's
asks
right.
the government to print money on its behalf so that I can give the money to the banks or whatever. Like this is such a massive like it's technically not, I want to say Ponzi scheme because that's how I was culturally raised to say something that I don't like. You know, it's to call it a Ponzi scheme, but like
Right.
it doesn't use the money to like it's not like using a money to continuously get the client or whatever. So that's not what makes a Ponzi scheme. It's a it's a pyramid scheme, you know, and to go
Right.
into detail about the people who like own the Federal Reserve and then the whole rabbit hole of like international finance and stuff like that is honestly a topic
Right.
for its own separate video. But you're absolutely correct. It's the exact same reason that like me and many others in Gen Z, we've gotten into crypto because it's essentially like we know that the banks are a middleman because with crypto you can send money to anyone anywhere 24 7 365. They'll receive it in minutes for pennies on the dollar, you know. And then what you say about how the banks get a life insurance policy so that they can earn interest off of the money you deposit into the bank, and then they give you less than 1% on their 12% return that they've done with your money on on your behalf,
Yep.
you know. And then
Yeah,
there's
it's called
quantitative easing, which is another way of saying counterfeiting,
right.
you
You
know.
know, the other thing, right? So there's a really good book. It's called Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance, and it'll show
Mm,
you right there, bank-owned life insurance. It's called BOLI, right?
mm,
Or you've got corporate-owned life insurance, COLI, and it'll tell you the companies that have these massive insurance policies, so that
mm.
they can leverage the tax codes in their favor using our money. It'll show you in the billions how much that these banking institutions actually put into these organizations.
Mm.
And it'll blow you away, man. And it's all right there available. You just have to want to look for that information.
Oh
And if
yeah.
you don't, then you got to just, trust someone like myself that, is doing that, that legwork for you. And that's what I do, man. That's exactly what we
Yeah.
do in general. Love
Look, absolutely. So then there's
it.
yeah. So let's talk about how this pyramid scheme how they use other words to mean illegal things like counterfeiting. You know, like I remember seeing this one clip where this British guy back when Britain was part of the EU still, he's like, it's a criminal scandal. You know, like it's a very popular thing that's been circulating on the internet. Quantitative easing, counterfeiting by any other name, you know. And then but he said that like and it's going to keep happening until like arrests are made from like the politicians and the bankers and stuff like that. But I'm thinking it'll stop happening when people stop contributing, because I'm very much I don't know what I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to get clipped, and perhaps I might have my own team clip it out of context myself. But I'm very Machiavellian. Like if you've read The Prince by Machiavelli, you just kind of learned that like human beings have never changed, and basically all of society is basically just power. So if you just stop doing a thing, you know, if you stop paying your taxes, they'll stop doing like what San Francisco is doing, where like anyone who identifies as black gets $5 million over the course of like 5 years or whatever in reparations. And so I plan on walking in there and saying I'm black. I'm not kidding. It's anyone who identifies as black.
Oh
You
wow,
know,
I never that's interesting.
yeah, no,
I never
but
knew
like
anything about that.
yeah, so like so then we get taxed, and then the government does two things. They pay back the debts the Federal Reserve and the banks take on our behalf. How benevolent of them. And then they spend the money on like a bunch of nonsense. Like you also live like in California, but like all the roads have cracks in them. All of like the major cities in California are just riddled with like drugs, homeless people, crime. The crime got so bad they were like, if it's less than $100, don't even bother reporting it. It's just, and I'm just like, and you're gonna like direct California tax money to that?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Obviously I'm gonna take my slice of the pie. It just makes sense, but then, but it's just like, it just seems that this entire thing, I drew a circle instead of a pyramid. This entire thing is just designed to screw you and me over for literally, for honestly putting in more work than the rest than everyone else in this scheme.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's I try to keep my political views to myself, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if these institutions, I mean, if you were watching the news,
Mm.
the CEOs of Silicon Valley and the major directors, gave themselves a bonus before they got bailed out, right? So
Yeah.
again, it's just about awareness, right? And
Mm.
when I say we're teaching the 95%, unfortunately, it's the 95%, right? It's not
Yeah.
like we're teaching the 60% with the 40% have been doing. The
Yeah.
gap is just really, really large, and it's kept that way for a reason,
Yeah.
and we're trying to just kind of narrow the gap a little bit. And it's just through education, through things like what we're doing, right now, through Instagram, through
Mm-hmm.
whatever vehicles allowing us to leverage their platform and just get this information to the people we care about. Hey, do what you want with it,
Yeah.
right? Listen to it, don't listen to it. Scroll past us. Just
Yeah.
know the information's out there. You just gotta don't complain about your situation. Just get more educated.
Yeah. If you just like, because this is what I did all throughout my teenage years for the people listening. All I did throughout my teenage years was just read and educate myself, and then went to bed. That's all I did from the time I was like 16 to like the time I was 20. So if you just do that, like over time, it'll compound. You'll build confidence, especially if you work out and start taking care of your finances, and all that stuff. But I'm thinking it's like, there's a reason why school doesn't teach us this, and it's because the schools get money from the Federal Reserve. Effectively, they get tax money to come, but it's basically the Federal Reserve is the ones printing it. But I just want to like pause for a moment and say, what if financial advice, like this kind of stuff that you give, was taught in school? What if schools like taught you how to like how to start a business? If you've ever seen the Valuetainment podcast, the guy from there talks about this all the time. If school teaches you how to invest your money properly and and run a business, like people that actually like care about school, people would actually love school.
Right.
I didn't learn anything in school. Once I was in the ninth grade, I didn't learn a thing after that. I was like, why am I here? Oh, it's daycare. Oh, okay. I could just stay
Right.
home, but you know.
Well, and to your point, I mean, almost every conversation that we have, whether it's a business owner or family,
Mm,
it ends up going there, right? Man, I wish I learned this when I was in my early 20s.
mm,
How different everything would be today. And then it's my job to just let them know, look, it wasn't available to you then because it wasn't, but you're
mm,
here now. So let's take advantage of it. Don't let it go by. Don't procrastinate. Take
yeah.
advantage of this amazing opportunity and this the ability for someone like myself who does free consultations, like take
Mm,
advantage of it. And at the end of the day, I've got a 17-year-old niece. I've got little kids. I've got a 7-year-old and 4-year-old boys. Like, there's only a couple of rules that you need to understand,
mm,
and we could have been taught this in 6th grade.
yeah.
So rules of money, right? Like, the first rule is the rule of 72, right? Look it up. It's the rule of
Mm,
compounding interest. You either
yeah.
understand that rule and you earn higher interest rates, or you don't understand that rule and you'll end up paying those high interest rates for the rest of your career.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Rule number two is, how is your money actually growing?
Yeah.
Do you even know? Is it growing at a fixed rate like the banks offer you? Is it in the stock market where it's going up and down in a variable? Or the strategies that we love and embrace and teach, is it an indexing strategy where you get
Mm-hmm.
to capitalize on a lot of the highs and eliminate all the negatives? It's it's called a protection phase of your money for a reason.
Mm.
There's a way to protect your money. You just have to be willing and open enough and get those skeptical ears, and bring them down and just go, wow, I'm going to learn something today. And to
Yeah.
your point, Trevor, I'm in California just like you. Finally, the third rule is, how's your money getting taxed?
Mm.
If you don't understand how your money's getting taxed, you will continue to pay too much for the rest of your life. And guess what? So will your kids, so will your grandkids, and it will continue on. And that 95% will stay at 95%.
Yeah. Let's see what else can we do? Um, we could talk about the people who mysteriously died trying to end the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, dude, I don't know much about any of that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's
I don't really care about like the conspiracy theories or all that stuff, but it's just a remarkable coincidence that the second JFK put a bill to put the US dollar on the silver standard instead of and take it off like oil. He got shot in the face or the back of the head, but
right.
or what is it? Or Lincoln was opposed the Federal Reserve. Caesar tried to create his own, like Caesar from Rome, tried
Right.
to create his own bank. Things like that.
Yeah.
But
You go against the ones that are running the country, man. You're
mm,
asking to be exposed. You're asking to get canceled.
mm,
There's just it's an interesting culture these days, cancel culture.
yeah,
And you just got to be careful about some of the things that you say. That's why when we meet with people, we just keep it very simple. You know,
mm,
you know, we ask the questions, right? If you ask more questions, how can we help you? How can we make your situation better? What is it
yeah,
that you're doing right now that you wish could be better? And like, by the way, you can apply those three things to anything,
yeah,
right? You just got to be willing to, meet with someone that's willing to be honest with you and
mm,
ultimately give you the best advice. And you can take it or leave it. It
mm,
doesn't matter what we're talking about. But again, in our world, if you don't understand money or the rules of it, you're just going to be in trouble, man. You are, for sure. And so it's one of our crusades. We've got this, our crusade, our motto is no family left behind.
ah,
We really mean that. And what does that mean? Well, families are, set up in two ways, right? Family A, which is, the 9 to 5ers, right? The ones that, are the 95 percenters. And then there's family B, and a typical advisors that are at Morgan Stanley and Charles Schwab, if your net worth isn't
mm,
$1 million or more, they're not even going to talk to you,
yeah,
right? You don't see them going online asking and getting offering free consultations because they don't want to meet with you.
mm,
Just so you know. And one of the things I love coming from a family A, growing up my entire life, my parents are immigrants. We were the 95% our whole life. They put their heads down, they listened to everybody around them, and they worked extra hard. Well,
mm,
guess what? We stayed in the 95% for a very long time. My family is going to be the anomaly, right? We're changing that. We're no longer in the
yeah,
95%. And how did we do that? We just kept an open mind and really made sure we knew who was our association. And so I
yeah,
take that very seriously as a crusade. We want everybody to have an even playing field,
mm,
right? And if someone doesn't believe me that that's what we really want, then that's okay. It's okay. Just stay in the position that you're in. I'll help someone else. Someone else.
mm. Yeah. It really is like once you can make your money work for you, and you've separated your time from your money, the possibilities are basically endless at that point. So what I do, and I'm gonna here's my shameless plug, and then you can go to your shameless plug. There's you could click the with Koji down below in the description, and I will build and scale your social media brand from 0 to 40K plus in followers and revenue. And if you can, and if you also click the affiliate link down below in the description, PioNex, you can join an officially licensed crypto exchange, part of the SEC, but the SEC doesn't have their thumb up their bum like they do with Coinbase. But the real way you can make your money work for you, aside from crypto, is like the stuff that Danny does. So why don't you like talk about like the sheer volume of of people you've helped in
Yeah.
the years you've been working?
Yeah. I mean, right now, just as an organization, we're helping, anywhere from 30 to 50,000 families per month across the country.
Yeah.
So people are listening, and it's not just about an investment vehicles. We're doing things like, life insurance, long-term care. We're helping with college plans. We've got things like wills and living trusts. Because at the end of the day, Trevor, if you accumulate all of these things, these assets, and
Yeah.
if the goal is to make sure your family receives them one day when you
Yeah.
pass away, and you don't have it in a will or a living trust,
The bank will just take
unfortunately,
them. Yeah.
that's right. Well, the government will take everything in the form of what's called probate. And probate here in California, according to my lawyers on my business partners, is going anywhere from 4 to 6 years before any of those assets go back to your family. So that's a huge, huge
Yeah.
deal that a lot of people, if there was 10 people in the room right now, 9 out of 10 would say they don't have their will or their living trust set up. And so we're able to make sure that you get another free consultation with our tax attorneys, right? We're nationwide. So the words free and lawyer don't typically go together, but
Yeah.
because of this, yeah, right. Because of the podcast, because of my relationship with Trevor and the things that we're doing, we're able to offer you that. Now it's a limited time, of course, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? How about everything? By the way,
Yeah.
you have everything to lose if you don't do things like this. We've got payment plans on these trusts as low as $50 a month. So guys, just put it on paper. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day too, we're doing good things for people we care about. And at the end of the day also is we're always looking, because we're expanding our business nationwide, for part-time opportunities from home. I used to work
Yeah.
corporate for 17 years, and I started this business part-time, and it changed my family's trajectory for our futures forever. So as a blessing for us, we're just always throwing it out there. We want to be a blessing to as many people out there that are willing to understand it's going to take some work, right? It's not an overnight
Yeah.
success, but if you're willing to learn and teach and be coachable, we'd be willing to give you a shot.
He's not a guru. I worked with him briefly for a period, and we'll end up resuming soon. But there's a but this is the really crazy part, right? The link for his stuff and my stuff, it's all down below in the description. With what, like, it's 2 clicks. You schedule a call on your own time with Danny. Done. You know, nothing's easier than 2 clicks, except for maybe 1 click, but we're not really there yet technologically. So, it is what it is. But yeah, Danny, anything else you want to shout out before I turn this off?
You know what? No, I mean, just, look, guys, at the end of the day, man, we want to make sure that everyone is in a better place, today and tomorrow than they were yesterday.
Yeah.
And if the people in your circle aren't providing you with something that's going to get you to a better place, start looking at other circles. right? You don't have to
Yeah.
start cutting people off. Just know you've got a lot of people out there, people like Trevor and myself that actually care, and
Hmm.
that we're actually trying to do bigger, better things, not just for our own family, but for the people that we come in contact with.
Yeah.
And I think you just need to start taking those types of things, seriously. Just know, man, like one day you'll have to bury your parents. One day grandma and grandpa die. And guess what? There's some money that has to come from there. We have
Hmm.
solutions that can be provided for your family to eliminate siblings fighting, right? So you guys
Yeah.
can actually grieve and handle your family's business. So if you're one of the men or if you're one of the women out there that are in control of your home, like start with getting your stuff in order, lined
Hmm.
up on paper, so that you never have to worry about that ever again.
Yeah. I don't really have anything sappy to say because you took it from me. So I'll just say physical media is forever by Laserdisc. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at